As the CEO of Blushington, I had a very hard decision to make. Do I give up or do we start over? And we opted to start over.
Hey friends, welcome to the Next Best Thing podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Cline-Thomas. Now, I'm here to help you live the life that you design instead of choosing a life you think you have to settle for. Let these conversations be your guide. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you've heard me talk about how I show up in the world kind of in expectation, right? I think my blessings can come from anywhere. So my eyes are open, my ears are open, and I'm seeing everything as an opportunity. I truly believe that I will meet who I need to meet, that I will get in the rooms that I need to get into, just because I am showing up with expectation, and then I am showing up. I mean, that's the key thing, that I am showing up. I am getting out of my house. I am constantly meeting people. I am nurturing relationships. And that could not be more true for my guest, Natasha Cornstein. Before she became the CEO of Blushington, which is a beauty destination for blowouts, makeup, and skincare, she was first a customer who raved about having a great experience. And as they say, the rest is history. So in this conversation, she's going to be talking about that, how the dots connected for her, how she fosters meaningful relationships, how to navigate the tough times in business, Lord, and there are so many tough times, right? And we also talk about franchising and how that might be a business model that you could consider. And it's not just for fast food chains anymore. I love that part of our conversation. It's not one that I expected to discuss, but when we had Brittany Crowell on, she talked about licensing. Now this conversation, we're talking about franchising. My goal is just to open you up to all the things that could be possible for you and to think about things in a way that might be different. I don't know where else they're talking about all these different topics about how you can navigate your next, but I'm so happy you are here doing it with me this way. There's just so much to consider in this conversation. All right, so here's Natasha. So Natasha, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so happy to have you and to have your perspective. So thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Andrea, for having me. I've been looking forward to today.
Likewise. You did not have a linear career path, which really resonates with our audience here. But I want to start with something that I heard you saying that really kind of was the crux of coming to Blushington, where you say your next hello can be your future. Explain what that means to folks.
So your next hello can be your future has been my mantra that's guided me through life. And what it's really all about is having an open mindset and really valuing every interaction you have with anyone that you meet, whether it's a casual conversation picking up your car in a garage in New York City, or waiting in line, or being in an important meeting. You never know who you're meeting, what their story is. And so I have always lived by this valuing of people and what they have to say. And I came to Blushington as a customer. And after my very first experience, the next day I was having a breakfast with a young woman. I was raving about Blushington, and she said, "That's my client." I said, "Can I say hello to them? Can you introduce me today?" And she introduced me, and the rest is history. So that's what I mean by your next hello can be your future.
I found, because a lot of the work I do is helping people with their career and life transitions. Yeah. And I find that a lot of people go to work and come home or stay within their circles. And when they're thinking about branching out, it's when they need a new job or when something terrible has happened, like they have to make a quick pivot. Mm-hmm. Talk about just moving through life with the openness. Where do you get that from? Do you think it's because of your having parents who are immigrants or first gen?
I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that my mother is the only person in her family to have come to the United States. She was born and raised in Indonesia, and then Holland to New York, where she worked as an au pair and taking care of cleaning someone's home while she was studying at Columbia University. And my father's parents came during the Second World War as refugees. And they met, fell in love after 4 whirlwind dates, and we relocated to Cleveland Heights, Ohio, where we had no family, no friends, and they had an approach to life where our door was always open. We were always setting an extra plate at the dinner table, always hosting people from all different walks of life, and I grew up that way. But I would encourage anyone that's with us today, whatever your background is or the approach that maybe your own family took or you've had up until this point, it's never too late to expand your circle. It's never too late to venture out. And I think that sometimes we're captive of our own worries. And so I would say, go try something new. Don't just go to work and come home. Maybe take a different route home. You never know. You might meet somebody. You might stop and discover some music or a place you'd like to, have a bite to eat. And then you never know who will be sitting next to you. But I do, to answer directly your question, yes, I think my open mindset came from, really being outsiders in a new community. And so knowing what that really felt like as a family.
And what role have relationships played in your trajectory?
Well, relationships are everything. I think that if you look at a non-linear career path, as I've had, it's so much about relationships and non-transactional relationships, and not about asking people for something when I need something or trying to meet something because I want something from a person. I don't think that's such a recipe for success or doors being opened. I think when I meet somebody, I try to stay in touch with them. It's actually something I've learned from my husband, who's been an entrepreneur his entire life. He is amazing about staying in touch with people. And I've really learned that from him. And I see in my own professional life and my personal life that it's in the longevity of relationships and being there, not just when you need something, but being there all the time, so that when you maybe need something or you would like a door opened, that somebody's very willing to do that.
Yeah, you learned that from your husband. I learned that from my brother, and they're both in the sports industry. And so
what
I
does
think
your husband? Oh, I'm sorry. What does your brother do in sports?
so when he started as an agent, and now he is a venture capitalist. And so I think like seeing that, where they're always having to talk to people, always having to meet with people, and it's a very kind of face to face. It's not a digital transaction. They have to be, care about their athletes and be with them and go to the homes, and stuff like that, you really see the value of relationships there.
Well, they should definitely meet.
Yeah.
Because my husband ran his agency for 20 years and is now working in finance. So I think they have a lot in common.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now I want to talk about Blushington. How would you describe it?
Well, Blushington is the most magical place in the world. Blushington is a destination where you can come to get makeup applications, blowouts, and get ready all in one appointment under one roof. And I think what really sets Blushington apart from other beauty concepts is that we have training that's training for all customers. So all ages, all skin tones, all hair textures. This was essential to the core values of Blushington, but also essential to our business model. And when you look at the options that are out there today, and I would say in general, there's a very narrow focus, particularly when it comes to blowouts on textured hair. And so when we set out to add blowouts at Blushington to our makeup offering, we wanted to make sure that we were really holding true to that commitment so that Blushington is a destination for all customers.
That's fantastic. You know, when it comes to getting your hair done or getting your makeup done, it feels like a luxury for so many of us, especially now, especially in New York where you're running, like it's just the pace of everything. You're running from here to there. What's your pitch on this, like taking care of yourself and giving yourself this moment?
Taking care of yourself is essential. And I think that what used to be the provenance of maybe the elite or the super affluent wellness and considering this pampering has now been democratized. And I think, again, at Blushington, it's super important to us that we create a luxurious environment with accessible pricing. And I think it's critical to fit that into our lives. I mean, if you step back, there's an extraordinary statistic, Andrea, that women spend 1/6 of their lives on their beauty routine.
Oh, and wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. When women are spending 1/6 of their lives on their beauty routine, it was essential for us to sort of solve that problem or to improve on the amount of time being spent. So when you come to Blushington, you're having your makeup done, your blowout done in an efficient way. So I think that as you say, we're so busy in our lives, but making time for a beauty routine is crucial. But who has hours? I know, as a working mom, spouse, CEO, I love what we do at Blushington because I can be in and out in 45 minutes. I've got my hair and makeup done. I've been treated beautifully. And for any of us, when we feel good, it changes the day.
It does change the day. It
Yes.
does change the day. You led Blushington through COVID, which is, when the industry shut down, right? And now we're having more tough times in business. I'm a baby entrepreneur. I like to say we have people who want to start businesses or are early in their business who listen. What did you learn through COVID that maybe you're applying now as we're getting all kinds of different headlines that might change how the decisions we're making around business?
So I think COVID was obviously a total unknown for all of us and perhaps the challenge of a lifetime, again, both in business and personally. And as the CEO of Blushington, I had a very hard decision to make. We were doing makeup applications, largely driven by special events. There were no events. We were all wearing masks. So it was a pivotal moment where I had to really make the decision, do I give up or do we start over? And we opted to start over. And for anybody out there that's maybe starting a business or has been at it a while and needs to make a change, people ask me all the time, what is the most important quality I need as an entrepreneur? And I say it's resilience. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, not dwell on mistakes or not dwell on circumstances that aren't ideal, which for Blushington, COVID had everything going against us. Well, I couldn't change that, but we could really focus on the business model. And that's what we did. And we found solutions. So within 30 days, we re-platformed to a digital environment. We took all our training and we turned it into an online digital course to train artists. We created shop-in-shops, but we used that time to really regroup. And Blushington is now a franchise. And again, for anybody that is considering a change in their career, that wants to be their own boss, I highly recommend that you look into franchising. It's an extraordinary opportunity to have the hybrid of community, of proven systems, a proven business model, with the freedom to be your own boss, keep your own hours. And so we used the COVID pandemic to adjust our business model from a very CapEx intensive model where we were building all of our own stores, taking on all of the financial responsibilities, to offering the opportunity to entrepreneurs across the country to now join us on the Blushington journey, to own their own brick and mortar location. And so I couldn't be more excited about what we did during COVID, how we used the time. We got an MBA in franchising. And I wish that more people, especially more women, knew about the power and the possibility that comes with owning your own franchise.
I want to talk about that. Before we go in, I really, though, want to be kind of in your heart in that moment where it was like, oh my gosh, this is not 2 weeks. We're also in New York City. Manhattan looks like a ghost town. What am I going to do?
So I will tell you in more detail, Andrea. I closed our stores. We sent a letter to all of our customers on Friday, March 13th, that we would be closed for 2 weeks. We ordered disposable makeup brush sets. I ordered HEPA filters and all types of air filtration, gloves, and really thought that I was being prepared to get open. And I woke up that Sunday morning and realized very quickly that not only are we not opening in 2 weeks, we may never open again. And that we are in a total crisis. And that if I'm feeling this and Blushington is being faced with crisis, then what's happening with my peers and competitors alike? And what I did with that is I took action. It was very easy. Don't get me wrong. There were moments when I felt very overwhelmed and it was scary and I felt very hopeless. When faced with adversity, when faced with challenging circumstances, my inclination is to keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. If I get mired in fear or I get mired in despair, I accomplish nothing. And so my inclination is progress, is to move forward. And in the moment, that Sunday of March 2020, my inclination was to reach out. And so I started something called the Beauty and Wellness Forum, where I invited, again, competitors and peers alike to come together, to learn together. How are we going to face a global pandemic? How are we as brick and mortar consumer business operators going to survive? And brought in experts in every topic that we were facing in negotiating with our landlords and handling leases. The most important thing was, how do we take care of our people? What does that look like? How long can we keep our people on? What does severance look like? Can we salvage any of their jobs? We looked at crisis communications. We looked at how to access PPP government funding. I mean, what the government did was exceptional, and they did it in record time and saved so many businesses. But there was a lot to learn about how to access that funding. And so coming back to where we started this conversation about relationships, I had a whole network of people that I could reach out to and call upon and say, help me, help my peers. And so that's what it was like. And we were both, I think, in New York City. Mm-hmm. It was a scary place to be.
Yes, it was.
Really scary. And the thing that kept me up at night was how to do the best I could by our team then of over 120 people in 3 different states, and did everything we could to keep them on for a month after we closed so that each person had an opportunity to regroup. Now, that was very costly, but it was the right thing to do. And it's taken us a long time. We had to recoup that, but that loyalty then came back to us from those that we were able to take care of. But that was the most brutal part of business for me, was having to let go of the majority of our team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so glad you shared that, because your instinct is exactly what I'm trying to build here, is that I launched the Next Best Thing community for that reason of like, wow, a lot of people are losing their jobs. Like the marketplace is completely different. Let's bring in experts to talk to us about the different issues, how to negotiate, how to, leverage your personal brand, how to negotiate contracts, and so much more. We're going to have resume workshops, and all of that is part of, and that's exactly what you described that you did, that in a moment of crisis, you didn't say, let me figure it out myself. You said, all right, let me open my arms wide and bring more people in, and let's have a brain trust of who is the expert in these things, and let's leverage our expertise in so many different ways and learn from each other. I love that. And it's also like quiet validation for me in terms of following my instinct as a baby entrepreneur of saying, no, I think this is better if we try to do it together. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak about it and understand, and for your community to understand. It takes, what you are doing is brave, and find that courage, I would say, to ask for help, I will be the first to raise my hand to say, I don't understand something. We have a weekly call to go over our financial results, to look at what we could be doing better or differently. And I not only want my management team to see and understand, just because you're the leader or the CEO doesn't mean you have all the answers. You want to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, or maybe have more experience than you in different areas. That's why our advisory board is so important. That's why my business partners, I have to point out, our manager of our flagship location, Jacinda Perez, comes from a franchising background. So we have learned so much from Jacinda about how to get ready. And now I can say with confidence to you, we are ready to open franchises in multiple states. Our systems that are proven are ready to go to support franchise owners and support them in every step of the process. And that's through bringing together, as you said, a brain trust to make sure that we're in a position to support people and to be successful together.
Who does a franchise benefit? Like who is a good candidate for being a franchisee?
I love that question. Every franchise is going to be different. At Blushington, we're looking for franchisees that want to be a part of our community, of a proven, trusted brand, somebody that maybe has built a lifetime of a career working for somebody else, and maybe they have a crummy boss, or they've had it with commuting and office politics, and wants to control their destiny a lot more. That's a candidate that we're looking for, a seasoned business person that's ready to have more control over their lives, that shares our values, that loves beauty. And I would say another candidate that we're seeing are really talented women that left the workforce after maybe a 5-10 year career. They got married, started a family, they've off-ramped, and they're ready to get back to working. They're ready to regain more of an identity beyond mommy and beyond spouse. So these women, for anyone that has off-ramped from a great career to start a family and wants to get back into it, franchising is an amazing opportunity to be an entrepreneur, to be your own boss, but also have a community that you can join that has really a proven business model and an incredible community to join.
You know, I remember when I started my journalism career, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but just it had no place to go. And I would always be like, oh God, please give me a product idea and I will pursue it. But I don't have an idea. I just need an idea. And so franchising is, I mean, there's a lot of work involved, but
Yes.
that's also a built-in idea with a proven track record that you can align yourself with a brand. Let's go back 101. What does that mean?
What does opening a franchise
Yeah,
mean?
what does opening a franchise mean? What does that mean just on the basic level?
So on the basic level, what you touched upon drives franchising. Entrepreneurs that want to roll up their sleeves, run their own business, but didn't have that idea, or they're looking for that brand that they really align with. So what does it look like? Your path to franchise ownership starts with saying hello. It starts with researching brands. It starts with filling out a form for more information, getting on the phone with the franchisor, and typically going through what's called a mutual discovery process. Because you'll want to get to know the team that you're working with. And as a franchisor, I want to get to know you, and our team wants to get to know you to make sure our values align, to make sure that the excellence that we demand and expect will be upheld. And for the franchisee, you really want to make sure this is a business that I want to own. So that's how it all starts. If you're awarded a franchise, you then sign a franchise agreement, and the first thing you're going to do is go out and look for the real estate. You know, in our franchise business and in many franchise businesses, they're brick and mortar locations. So you go out and find your location, you get all of the training that the brand provides, you get set up, and that's your systems, that's hiring your personnel, that's understanding your inventory. It's setting up any type of business, just like you would as if it were your own. But the difference with franchising is it comes with an entire team that has done this before, that has perfected the business model. But starting, becoming a franchisee and joining the community of the franchise world starts with saying hello and finding that franchisor.
So, basically the franchisee can leverage in partnership, can leverage the name and the reputation and the systems of a Blushington, let's say, and open their own store. And then there's like a profit sharing model as a result, or how does that work?
That's exactly right. So, and I love how you said it. When you join a franchise community, you are joining a brand that you love, and you are leveraging the success of the brand, the copyright, the trademarks, the name of the brand, all of the systems. And the way that franchising works is that you pay a franchise fee up front, and then it's a revenue share model. So a franchisee will pay royalties on their gross revenues to the franchisor. And in that partnership, then the franchisor will support all of your training, your marketing, your inventory, helping you to be successful in every sense of the word. So it is really this fascinating dynamic between franchisor and franchisee, because your success is tied together.
How long does it take to kind of, from when you meet somebody to opening day?
It's going to be different for every person. Becoming a Blushington franchisee is about a 60 to 90 day get to know one another process. Now, some franchise brands will spend a much shorter amount of time getting to know a candidate. Blushington will spend a good 60 days. It is so crucial to us that we bring on franchisees that align with our core values, that have the commitment to excellence and the commitment to inclusivity. and that will enjoy working together. And that's something that you find out over time. And so after that process, it's really a function of how long it takes to find the right real estate. But a typical meeting one another to opening your Blushington franchise is about 9 months. So you should be open within 9 months, which is, 9 months goes by very quickly. So from the moment we sign that franchise agreement, we're out of the gate on all fronts, on real estate, build out, learning the brand, marketing. We start getting ready on day one for opening day.
That is incredible. Because, I was wondering, is it a year, 18-month process? But it's about a year
Yes.
process. And how do you hope that it transforms the lives of especially women entrepreneurs?
There is so much opportunity for women in franchising. This has been a historically male-dominated industry. And so the door is wide open for women to be successful in franchising. I look at Blushington and our people in a couple different ways. What I love about the Blushington franchising opportunity is for the franchisee, for that owner, it's an opportunity to be the boss of their own destiny. It's the opportunity to be the entrepreneur they've always wanted to be and to soar. And for the artist, the opportunity to create economic opportunity and a stable environment for artists to pursue their passion is one of the most satisfying things I've experienced in my career. Seeing artists that join Blushington and then go on to have careers in film and editorial, yet they stay with Blushington, whether it's a day, a month, 4 days a week. It's also about creating the opportunity for the artists. Many artists come from modest backgrounds. They may not have a high school degree or a college degree. Pursuing a cosmetology license is a huge investment, and it is one of the most extraordinary professions I've had the opportunity to observe. A makeup artist, a hairstylist, every single time they're with a customer, it's like a live audition. And so they are constantly having to adapt, to listen to the person that's in front of them, to keep honing and perfecting their skills. So I see huge opportunity, not only for the franchise owner, but it gives me tremendous joy and satisfaction to know that we're creating jobs for this extraordinary pool of talent across the country.
And for you, speaking of your nonlinear career, you were part of the family business in sports. Now you're in beauty, and I'm sure that they inform each other in different ways. But what have you learned about yourself, and how do you keep, pushing forward?
I think the thing that I've learned about myself as I've gone through my career is how important it is to be flexible. I think when I started early on in my career, I was pretty inflexible. Even though I had an open mindset, I was very, very focused on doing things my way and doing things quickly and often doing things on my own. So one of the biggest things I've learned in my career and learned about myself has been that it's in the execution, not just in the mindset. So yes, I've always been open to listening to other people, to hearing stories, to generating ideas together. That wasn't always translating for me in the execution. And I think part of that was youth and part of it was lack of experience. And the more experience I've gained and the further I've gone in the progression of my career to the CEO seat, the more I value and understand how crucial it is to work as a team, to surround myself with experts that know more, to bring people along, to allow an idea to evolve. So I think flexibility and understanding the power of bringing in a really strong team has been one of my biggest learnings in my career and has really enriched my life and my career, because you hit a ceiling really fast when you try to go it alone. Really fast. And I think your work product, your productivity, your joy caps out at a ceiling. And when you are really executing with a great group of people, it doesn't feel like a job. My role at Blushington is a way of life. It's something I'm excited about every day. And that doesn't mean I don't have terrible moments or times where I'm stressed or generally many problems to solve in a day. That comes with the territory and the seat. I wake up and look forward to my day.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping everybody aspires to, really looking forward to their days. So the last segment is called ACT UP, ACT. Those are my initials, where I ask every single guest about how somebody today can take a step to get from where they are to where they want to be. And let's speak to somebody who's very ambitious. They have big dreams for their lives, but they're feeling like they're hitting a ceiling, like they're just feeling a little stuck right now. What are some things that they can do today to kind of get them unstuck?
I think to get unstuck, you have to look at all aspects of your life. And that's not just your business life, but your personal life. I understand ambition. I think I was born with ambition. Mm-hmm. So how did I chase that and how did I act on it? It was making sure that all aspects of my life were fulfilling and moving forward. So you want to get unstuck. It's not just in the office about building relationships. It's also in your personal life. Are you doing something you love? Are you finding fulfillment? So I think in order to fulfill ambition is to take care of yourself, nurture your relationships, keep being curious, and not really staying too mired on being stuck. Getting unstuck is coming back full circle to where we were in this conversation. If you're ambitious and you're faced with adversity, keep moving.
I love that, to keep moving. Natasha, thank you so much for being on. How can we support Blushington? If people want to learn more, where should they go?
I think you've already supported Blushington by giving me this amazing opportunity to speak with you and to meet your community. I would love for more people to learn about the Blushington franchising opportunity. You can find us at Blushington on Instagram. We respond to every DM. You can find us on blushington.com. And we have an entire part of the website devoted to the franchise opportunity. Maybe your next hello will be becoming the next Blushington franchise owner. So you can reach us in a lot of ways. And if you're in New York City or visiting New York City, come make an appointment at Blushington for some self-care, a blowout, makeup, and can't wait to meet you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you, and I can't wait to stay in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to The Next Best Thing with Andrea Cline-Thomas, a Mountain Court Media production. The music was written, recorded, and produced by Gavin Casey, also known as Dark Purple. Now, if you like what you heard, please subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and comment on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to share it with friends. I hope this episode helps you on your journey. See you next time.